Former Corrie star Tina O'Brien spoken for the first time about her breakup 7 months ago from co-star Ryan Thomas. She's told a magazine, "I was absolutely devastated. He said he didn't love me and didn't want to be with me. He reportedly said to her, 'You don't do it for me anymore.'" So it begs the question, girls, can a relationship survive if one partner physically rejects the other?
Well, I can speak on this quite openly now because I wrote about it, but my first husband, I actually had a non-consummated marriage. I won't go into the detail of why I married somebody that didn't fancy me, but basically he and actually it's quite common apparently, he could make love to people if it was a one-night stand or it kind of, you know, it was sort of grubby sex, but he couldn't make love to the woman he loved. And it was devastating, and it had a devastating effect on me. And I can only say to lie next to somebody night after night who doesn't want to touch you is awful.
How long did you put up with that?
A year.
Blimey.
And I absolutely... And the thing is that I knew there was a problem, but like all women, we live in hope that we can change our men and that if I gave him enough love, it would happen. So I feel very strongly, I see no reason in the world, if a relationship breaks down, it can break down for lots of reasons. If the sex isn't right, it is terribly noticeable, but there's no reason ever to turn around to somebody and say, "I don't fancy you because you're ugly or because, you know, you don't turn me on." And a relationship can break down, and you just say that's the end. You don't have to be personal.
Did that affect your
it.
future choices then?
It did, yes. I mean, then I made
Obviously, you're not going to be thinking, I must go out with someone and marry someone who doesn't want to have sex with me again.
Yes, and I've always said, actually, and I've said on this programme many times, I think passion and the sexual relationship is incredibly important.
Hugely, yeah.
Not that it holds it together, but if it's not there and it's wrong, you notice it. You become very aware of it. It's when it's right and it's fine, you don't think about it.
The question is, can you get past that, though? Can you be in a relationship where, you know, someone might reject you for a while, or you might reject them for a while, and then...
Yeah, I think that's different
get
to somebody...
back to it,
That's a normal ebb and flow of a relationship,
but I don't know. I think some people can't. I mean, personally, I don't know what it's like at the moment in this relationship to be rejected, because I never have to ask.
No, but it's still very new. It's only 2 years old.
Yes, it's 2 years, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I can't imagine what it would be like to sleep in the same bed as someone night after night and not have that physical contact, because it is a huge part of it. And if it did happen, I mean, regularly, and if I kind of thought something was wrong, I don't know. I don't think I could live with it.
I have lived with it. I mean, like you say, it's the ebb and flow of a normal relationship. I think there are times when you're just physically so connected and other times when you're not so physically connected. And I don't think that those times are necessarily, you know, sort of significant in that the relationship is over. I think, you know, there can be a number of things. You could have just had a new baby, hormones, or, you know, a medical condition like, you know, a thyroid thing or something, you don't know what's wrong with you. But I can understand how... that part of a relationship is very, very important and can be essential, but it's not just about finding someone physically attractive. A relationship can go a lot deeper than that. And I mean, I think to say to somebody that you just that I don't find you physically attractive, or to say to somebody those words is just so incredibly unnecessarily hurtful to end it with somebody, because but a relationship I don't think should be over just because the physical side has waned. I mean, I can understand. I can't actually imagine how painful that must be, because for a man not to want to have sex with you, because I've only, in my experience, every man I've met wants it all the time. I don't think that's me blowing myself, you know.
No, but that makes it doubly hurtful. Because there's part of you that must think, well, men want it all the time, so if he doesn't want it with me, I must be the worst person on the planet. It's a huge rejection, especially if you've just had a small child, because, you know, your hormones have changed. And I think this is more common than people realise amongst couples who've just had children, because, you know, the men go, especially if it's your first child, men go from being centre of attention to suddenly the woman doesn't have as much time for them anymore, and a lot of men can't necessarily cope with that.
But if you're talking about the end of a relationship, you know, sometimes in a relationship, one of you knows it's over for a long time, and much longer maybe than the other person is willing to accept that it's over.
Yes, but Carol,
in those cases, no, Linda, hang on a sec. In those cases, sometimes it's important to say maybe something that is so honest and so hurtful that that person can move on
That's
and
wrong.
can accept that the relationship is absolutely over. And I'm not saying necessarily in a marriage, and I'm not talking about when you've just
But
had a
when it's
baby or anything
physical
like
like
that.
that,
I'm talking about ending a relationship.
Yeah, but
Sometimes you
Carol-
need to say the words that someone doesn't want to
But don't you
hear.
think I don't love you anymore is enough?
Yes.
You don't have to, I don't love you anymore
agree
is
with
enough.
you,
You don't have to go, you're ugly, I don't fancy you. Do you?
Yeah, but haven't you been in a relationship before where you can say that and people just think, oh, you know, they don't know what they're saying,
then
and
they're
then you
fair.
carry on with it, you carry on. Well, I've done it. I've done it. I've stayed in a relationship for much
You
longer than I
cannot
should have
end
done,
a relationship
knowing someone didn't love me.
You cannot end a relationship on something just because you're angry and it's the first thing that comes into your head
I'm
that's
not
spiteful
saying
and
that.
nasty.
I'm not saying
You have
that.
to be
I'm
truthful
not
when you end a
saying that.
relationship, and if you're going to leave somebody heartbroken, don't make them feel like they've got absolutely no self-worth and
But that's
self-esteem.
all I'm
as well at the
saying.
end
Is
of it.
sometimes you have to be totally truthful and say what someone doesn't want to hear in order for them to be able to
Would you
move on
leave
and know
someone
that
because
it's
you
definitely
found them
over.
physically undesirable? Would you just...
Carol,
I
Carol,
don't find
Carol,
anybody physically
Carol, Carol, I don't fancy you anymore.
It's over, Bellas, it's over. Move on.
Actually, funny you should say that. It is almost over.